the dead goat?
Yeah.
That's a
That's
great
what-
combo. Thank you for
That's
the
exactly what that is.
Yeah, dude. That's a beautiful combo.
And I think we're live.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, actually
It looks
live? I'm gonna refresh.
it looks like we're good on my end.
Do you have a new link, or is it the same link?
It should be the same one. I can.
No, I hit refresh, and it's not the same
All
one.
right.
yeah. Mine still says waiting for Matt.
All right. How about that one? That one should show. I'm seeing I'm live.
Okay, now I found the live link.
Okay, but it's just not the. It's never the created event one. That's always the issue that I have. I don't know why. Okay, my girlfriend just messaged me and said yes.
Okay,
we're live,
so I just refreshed the old stream, and there's 13 minutes of our audio.
audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what. So it was streaming live before. It was just.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
It was
And
just audio, though.
Okay.
the
It's just the
chat is
background.
disabled.
13 minutes of audio. Okay, I don't know what's going on. YouTube doesn't like me right now.
Do you say
Come on,
you say
YouTube.
chat was
Live
disabled,
now.
Shane?
Click the thing.
Okay, I'm seeing 2 people watching now. Woot woot.
Hold on. Let me go back. This video is already recorded.
The previous 13 minutes of audio.
Yeah. Okay. Live now.
Chat's up.
Why can't I hear Jay? Jay, are you here, buddy? Okay,
No, he's.
I can't hear him.
I
I
can't
guess
hear
no
Jay.
audio.
It's we always have a little fun. We have a little fun trying to figure all this out. Notice my empty
And the
box back
stream,
there.
the stream for me is frozen.
Okay.
It's okay on my end.
Okay.
It's okay on your end? Alright, as long as it's okay on someone's end.
Well, I don't know how far behind I am. It's not. I have a nice nicotine warning about right here.
All right, that should be gone now. I literally just removed that as you said that. So
Oh, okay, so it's not frozen on my end, it's just really... It's my internet right now. It's just
Oh, okay.
super grainy and super laggy.
Can y'all hear
As
me?
long as I
yep,
don't-
I can hear you now, Jay.
Yeah,
You got
good.
it. All right, so I guess we're live. I don't know if people have found their way to
We're
this link rather than the created live event. I don't know why I always have an issue with that. I'll create a live event, and then I have an issue with like the dashboard or being in the live control room or whatever.
Can you just cancel a live event?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
What you should do is post a live event, and then right before we go live, post in the chat that we're switching over, and cancel that live event and start a whole new one.
What I do is I never get out of the dashboard thing. I never get out of it. If I exit out of it, I'm screwed.
Oh, so yeah, you just stay in it like in a tab or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just keep that tab open.
All right. Well, it looks like we're live, so
Yeah.
we're good to go.
I'm looking good. Man.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, we're looking good. Sweet. Okay, so little rocky start is it's always rocky with like Zoom and OBS, and I hate how they dislike each other. It's just
Technology, man.
What do you use, Shane? You said you use Streamlabs. Do you have an issue with Streamlabs and Zoom?
Mm-mm.
Huh. I guess
No,
it's,
You
but I
should
just-
switch over.
yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Just like
I,
that.
Actually,
remember when
I-
Streamlabs started their OBS program.
Yeah, it was
Because
rocky.
This was
at
back
first.
while I was, yeah, it was real bad at first because it was back while I was streaming like video games live, and it was not good.
Yeah.
But
There's
they
a new
have-
one
I
now
use
called.
things other than OBS because Streamlabs has a ton of things that streamers can utilize.
Yeah.
If anyone's
But
in
there's-
here besides the 3 of us or 2 of us, can anyone make sure we sound all right? I'm gonna message my girlfriend to make sure we all sound all right. Now that
Mine
we've
still
worked
says
it out.
waiting.
Try if you're on a. I'm assuming you're on a computer. Try the link I sent in our Discord group. That should work. That's probably why maybe some people
Oh.
are waiting on the other one.
Can you go on our Discord and at everyone in the Discord and let them know that we're live?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
Actually, I can do that. I don't know why I asked you.
It's all right,
yeah.
buddy.
Like my computer's literally right here.
I'll drop the link and you can say, "Let's go, everybody." Okay, so as I wait to hear. Okay, my girlfriend said everybody sounds good, so
Cool.
I'm gonna
Cool.
get up and shut my door real quick.
Thanks for your help, babe. I'm locking you out.
All right, so okay, I guess we're live. Somebody said Luke said we sound good. All right, so we sound good. Don't mind the box in my background. I got some auto detailing supplies, and that's the box.
Thanks, Luke. Luke says
So,
we sound good. I trust Luke,
oh yeah, you gotta trust Luke.
but now I can't hear.
Who can't you hear
It's
now?
good. Okay, me.
All right,
The
so
rain-
we are live. Welcome to a little weekend wisdom in the clouds. Some wisdom in the clouds. We never really came up with what we wanted to call this.
Does
Wisdom in the
is
cloud.
anybody else getting that really choppy?
Am I choppy?
No, he's
Is it
good
just
on my
me?
end.
My microphone might be too far away. It might
It's
be
just me then.
chopping in and out. So, all right. Well, welcome everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming by. We're a little talking about choppy. We're a little choppy on the start there. Always a little technical difficulty. Someday I'll figure it out when I play around with live enough. I gotta make another YouTube and just like go live a bunch of times and get it figured out. But we have some special guests. We have, well, first off, we have Logan back. Logan had we both had a week off last week, you know. So Logan's back, and we have our special guests, Weekend Wisdom. Like I said, a little Weekend Wisdom in the clouds. So yeah, I guess we'll start off with hello down there. So I guess we'll start off with the buffets, and I'm gonna hand it off to a Mr. Shane Oakley. What are you vaping on? What are you drinking on? How is your Saturday going? The whole nine.
My Saturday's awesome so far, and right now I'm drinking on Diet Mountain Dew.
I truly at this point believe that Shane just
lives off of
whole
it.
shed filled with the Diet Mountain Dew 2-liter bottles. There's just a refrigerated shed, like a whole cooler.
Do you-
like
do
a
you-
restaurant cooler
Do you
somewhere.
use a
He
cup?
just has-
Do you use a cup or
Yeah.
do you just swig it right?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I drink out of a
Jesus, that's like the same thing.
I mean, if you could just shove ice cubes down in that Mountain Dew bottle, it would be the same thing.
Oh man,
It's just a 40-ounce Yeti cup.
That's all.
just 40 ounces.
Yeah, just 40. So, but hey everybody, nice to be back on the show. Thank y'all for having us. Let's see, I've got my Unity on the Shogun, and in there I've got some pink from Ends Game. It's a pink starburst, and then I've got my
I don't even know what that was.
what?
Sorry, I was
My-
typing. It was terrible.
Dreamer and Dead Goat, and in there I've got the IVC Parade Maker. Always my Drop Dead with the Overlord.
Oh, blacked out, huh?
Yep, and that's one of two, and Sad Boy Shamrock Cookie.
Can't get enough of that sad boy, huh? Shane, you're always on that sad boy.
Yeah, I've always got one. And then the big lunch here, the Asgard on the King. And
I like that he calls it Big Lunch.
in there I've got the Side C PB Party.
Oh, I'm waiting on mine.
Ooh.
I missed out on the bundle, but I ordered them.
Yeah, I've got all
This is
three. That's
in,
just,
in the Clouds exclusive. That's our review for the next Rise and Vape show.
oh, PB Party or all three?
PB Party.
Oh, damn.
Oh
I turned the light on because it's a little dark and it was on really bright. And I just
Saddle
happened to be
horse,
looking right
saddle
at it.
horse in
Okay,
the
what I
chat.
need to do, I need to pull of just Shane going, oh damn, and play that "Blinded by the Light" song,
Yeah.
and just have it on repeat while that song goes on. That's what I do.
Last one I got the Fugly Mech, as I call it, the Bathala with the drop on top. And in there, hashtag Banana Land.
Banana
Really
Land.
good.
Land.
Just
Uh,
Banana Land.
the best banana e-liquid on the planet. And I got my Caliburn floating around here. I actually had to get a new one because my other one died, so it is Anybody want to know? Here's the inside of a Caliburn.
Oh, wow.
Dude, my Caliburn just died the other day too, but I put
Yeah.
it in dryer.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, mine, I just got up and I dropped it from my lap to the floor, and it wouldn't do anything anymore. No.
Hashtag not washer and dryer proof, Logan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it actually survived the washer and dryer for 4 days. 4 days it worked after that.
Oh, and then it just.
But the internals, I think, just like I'm pretty sure my battery corroded on the inside, like
Yeah.
slowly, and then just finally gave out.
yeah.
But it did work. So if you have a Caliburn and you put it through the washer and dryer, order one immediately because you'll still have it for 4 days, and then it
Yeah.
will die.
You got 4 days. Get
You
expedited
got
shipping
4
on your
days.
next one.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I took this apart, and the magnets inside of the there's one of them. The magnets inside this thing are stout. I have the other one in my hand, and all you have to do is you see. it just stood
Holy
up,
crap! Yeah,
and
That's
I
a
can feel it pulling.
that's a good magnet right there.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. But I was,
Running away
I mean,
from
I
it.
just like I set them on the desk probably a couple inches apart, and they just like sucked to each other.
Your hand must be giving off some kind of anti-magnetic field.
Yeah, it all depends on which way it turned.
It's just some Shane Oakley
that's-
sorcery going
that's
on
my-
right now.
It went with my collection. Here's my magnet for my jewel that I kept just because. So it's over here with the other ones.
He just has a little pile of broken mod magnets and shit.
You never know when you're gonna need a good magnet.
Most people have like a shelf of mods and atomizers. When you go visit Shane, it's just a pile of magnets. He's like, check out my vape collection,
Yeah.
or
He's
what's
everything
left of
magnets?
it.
He's
Yeah,
got
there's
he's,
everything that's left
I
of it.
have.
he's got all
And
his
here's all the
bottles of keeps all his bottles of Sad Boy right next to it. This is my vape
Yeah.
collection, magnets and,
Yeah.
and Sad Boy liquid.
It's just magnets and sad boys.
Hey, whatever works.
Hey, yeah.
So I guess I'll just pass it off. Jay, you can go.
All right, so I got the gold M Turk with the DHD chop top, stay gold, and I lost my gold top to my M Turk, so I put my black one on there.
Hey, that looks pretty good
Yeah.
though. That looks mint.
I think that looks awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, and I also lost my DHD black pearl tip, so I was kind of sad. I think I was more sad about
That whole mod is just like black gold, black gold, black
Stack,
gold.
stack.
Look at that. That's dope, dude.
Oh yeah, and that's that Unicorn Vert. Make sure you go check them out. I put a review out for it. It is awesome. Inside that, I got a liquid for vaping, the peach tea lemonade from Coil Turd.
It's good stuff.
Next, I got an Apocalypse 25 on top of my old trusty NATO. Inside that, I got some of this Brewed Awakening apple cider. And then I got my Dreamer Ardent combo with the Inferno Chop Top from DHD, Black Button. And then I have my M Turk Turkish blend, and I got it upside down because I'm trying to let all the
Almost out.
go to the
You
bottom.
go into the last drop. That's why it's upside down.
Yeah, I got all three of them right here, and they're all three of my Turk juices that I have left are just upside down, waiting to
Okay.
be used.
I have to ask for everybody out in the chat and everybody here, do you have like a certain spot at your desk where upside down bottles go? Do you have like a nook, a corner?
Cranny
Because
anywhere.
that's what mine is. It's like
Yeah.
it's the corner of I have a little stand with all my like cotton and other extra things, and then right next to that is I have a little drawer for all my batteries. It's like a little multiple drawer thing, and right in between them I leave just enough space. Rest a little bottle right there. And that's always my
James says cup holder in my truck. Yeah, I was doing that for a while. When I was really trying to get the last of a bottle every day when I was driving to work, I would just keep it upside down in my cup holder. And I,
Matt's just over here doing this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Gotta get the last of it out of there.
I have
Alright.
a spot right here where both my battery
see you
chargers
guys
are.
later.
What I do is I put it in a drawer, and I close the drawer to where it's still touching it, and it keeps it up, and it stays that way.
But if it was my luck, the cap would like fall off or something, and all of my socks would just be e-liquid.
Yeah. Yeah, mine goes in between
I'd be
my little
wringing out
stand
socks.
right
I'd
here
be
and
like,
my battery
no. Oh man.
Are you drinking anything tonight, Jay? Or is it just
No,
just
I
vaping?
was. had some Modelo's, but other than that, I don't have anything with me right now.
I have no beer in the house right now.
Same here.
I gotta go get some beer.
Mm-hmm.
Pass it off, Jay.
Logan, what are you vaping on, man?
I actually like have a little buffet tonight. I normally have like 2 things, but I posted it today on Instagram. I got the White Dreamer goat on top, thanks to this guy down below me, Shane Oakley, for sending me that dead goat. Awesome dude. And then I got a platinum a DHD nub tip on top of there.
Damn, that's a sweet
Pretty
little
dope.
setup. That tip.
I got some Fantasia's pink lemonade in there, just because it was on sale.
How good is that
Okay.
pink
The
lemonade?
best lemonade, but it's not the worst lemonade.
Okay.
I got my Davco, my Samurai, my MVV, potentiometer, variable voltage, Goon 1.5 on top, and then the last bit of my blast off from the fountain, OPMH. That's a Frames Janklin favorite right there. And then I got my Sublime Innovation Shorty X with Dead Rabbit SQ on top. And again, thank you to Shane. I'm just shouting this fucking guy out all night. He sent me some Sad Boy butter cookie, and I'm still working through it.
Must
It's grown
be
on me.
killing it. How far is that? Like
Well,
half
at first,
empty?
I was just like, it was just lemon bars at first, and I wasn't ready. And now I'm ready. It's good. And then I've got I just set this up. I got my old Pulse 80 with a little Tobino on top, little flavor banger, with some very well steeped. Look at this liquid.
Holy
Ooh.
crap!
That's like
This is
super
some
steep.
strawberry cornbread pudding. And this liquid is probably 6 months old.
It's like straight up
Wow.
blood. It's got like blood in a
It is
bottle.
just- It is, dude. It is cornbread blood in a bottle. It is
Yeah.
fantastic. And then I'm just drinking on a bubbly.
All right,
Bubbly.
a little seltzer,
I
right?
love those. I tried one of those like last week.
The
Absolutely love
lime and the orange are the best.
Yeah.
The lime and
Tried
the
the lime.
lime is like a light Sprite, and
Yeah.
the orange is like a super light orange soda. The other ones are. I'm gonna leave them. They're the 2 best.
Sparkling
The orange
ice.
and the lime.
Sparkling ice drinks are good.
Sparkling ice makes some decent ones. I really like the bubblies though. These are I've tried a whole lot of the different flavored seltzers and stuff recently. Bubblies I landed on and I like. And that leaves Matt. We're gonna hand it right off to the main man.
So I guess I got the weakest buffet tonight. I got 3 different setups. As I told Logan, I don't know anybody else in the Discord saw it, but my Monarch fell, and as everybody's well aware, those aren't supposed to take a shock,
Oh,
because
no.
when they take a shock, they just yeah. So funny enough,
Matt,
what happened was.
do you want to show it?
I'd have to grab it from the other room, but I mean I can at some point. Maybe when we're chatting, I'll run it and I'll grab it. But basically, it fell off my desk,
Poor thing,
and
dude. He sent me this picture and I cried.
if you have a Monarch, or if you know what the top assembly looks like with the actual top part off, there's tracks in the resin, and basically both sides of those snapped off when it hit the ground, when it impacted. And sadly enough, I had just got a new copper contact from Josh, because I tried to cram it on and I bent the shit out of the contact. So I just put a new contact in it. I was rocking it about 2 days. And then basically the story was I had it on a desk. I pulled my keys, which are attached to a lanyard, and there was a small mirror on the lanyard. So I swiped out the mirror and it whacked a Monarch right off the dresser onto the floor. So the whole story behind that is I have the Blotto sitting on the Arcless at MechLife Arcless. Pretty sweet.
Look at that with
It's-
the bubble glass.
With the bubble glass, and if you're on Patreon, I put up a video, a little unboxing first impression of the Blotto, and it was a bitch getting this glass on. The straight glass was just stuck right to the upper section, but putting this on, it was a bitch. And if you've seen anybody's reviews, then you know that the whole glass situation with the O-rings is it's a bitch. So I got the Arcless with that Blotto, vaping on some of that Flabon Flay Bomb. I don't know. Apparently it's pretty popular liquid. I picked it up at a local shop down the road. Had a great conversation with the owner and everything. Invited me to go up to Concord when they go up to Concord. So that was great. So got that, and then I also got the topside with that profile RDA. Had to bust out the mesh. I really wanted to see this liquid and see what I could get for flavor. So I'm rocking it in the Blotto, and I am rocking it in this profile on that topside. Absolutely love this. It just I have the topside dual, but this just sits in your hand so much.
My girlfriend's topside wasn't her favorite mod, and purple.
Okay.
Use it all the time.
Yeah. So got those
it's
two.
her favorite mod.
And then the last thing I got going is that Aegis Solo, that little single 18650 with the Tengu RDA on top, and on the inside of that I got some a la mode, some chocolate chip liquid that is just beyond sugary. Like it is, they hit it right on the head, but it is just so sweet and sugary. It's not an all day vape for sure.
It's like 3/4 sucralose.
Yeah.
The other quarter is your VGPG flavor, nicotine and everything. It's the whole bottle is just liquid sucralose. That's exactly like Shane sent me that cookie twist.
Yeah.
That frosted sugar cookie, and that liquid, dude, is just vanilla and sucralose.
Yeah. And then the only thing I'm drinking tonight, no beer tonight, just some water. Trying to shake a little bit of a cold I got going on, so just a bunch of water. So same.
You just gotta shake it out.
Just gotta shake it off.
You just gotta
sweat it out, shake it off. Yeah. So
shake it out.
The lamest buffet, but yeah, that's what I got. So yeah. I guess we can dive right in. You guys want to just get right into the Michigan talk? Fat Tire.
Oh yeah.
Let's get right into Michigan. I know everybody's been doing videos. Everyone's been talking about it. What is that? Oh, you brought it in for me. She brought me in my shattered Monarch.
Warning: he might cry.
I'm already.
Hi, Mrs. That guy Matt. I still don't know her name. He hides her from existence.
Her name's Elizabeth.
Bye, Mrs. That guy Matt.
So basically, if you can see that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she it shattered. It shattered pretty bad on both sides.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, that's a good hit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so and obviously, I mean, she offered to buy me a new one, but it was kind of like it was more my fault than anything. I mean, I put the mod there and then I pull my keys, not paying attention. But I blame her for the mirror being on the dresser. But so that's that. But I guess you guys want to dive right into Michigan, get the rant going. The rant going early. We're 23 minutes in. We can start ranting. We've had plenty of time. Logan looks like he wants to start first. Logan, do you want to start?
Okay. All right. So, yeah.
So we do have.
I don't even know where to begin because I've just spent the last week on Twitter losing my mind. If anybody does not know, this week, I can't remember what day now. Monday.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday, I think.
Governor Whitmer, Gretchen Whitmer. What a wonderful.
Gotta love the name. I love the
wonderful
name.
human being. Yeah. In Michigan, has announced that she will basically be utilizing a rather gray area in her power to completely ban flavored e-liquids other than tobacco.
Wednesday.
This even goes into menthol.
Oh, my Lanta just
it's not
corrected
in
us.
effect yet.
But sorry,
Wednesday,
Logan, go on.
you.
Yeah.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So, other than tobacco, and that includes mint and menthol, which is kind of something that a lot of us didn't even, to the extreme, didn't even see coming, because in the past, when they've threatened flavors, they've left tobacco, mint, and menthol alone. This bill, or this, I guess, executive order, there really isn't a word for what she did, is just going to be tobacco flavors only. It has nothing to do with nicotine level. Tobacco flavors and unflavored e-liquids will remain untouched. This goes into effect, I think they said within like a week or something like that. But it's still in the process. Nothing is finalized yet.
Yeah,
but it will include
once they
retail.
put the rules out there, then they have 30 days from then.
to
Once the
comply.
rules are finalized, yep, then manufacturers and businesses, whoever, 30 days to basically sell off and comply. And that includes retail and online sales. Now, I've been having some discussions with people about the online sales thing, and it's clear there might be exceptions to that rule. As it stands, hardware has been left untouched. There's nothing in concrete about hardware, so that includes coils, mods, tanks, what have you. And online, I believe that hardware is still untouched. And I've been talking to a few people because this is where it gets gray, because if it's just sales within the state, if a company has a headquarters within the state, but if they have a distribution center outside of the state, there might be some discrepancies there. But I think basically what you're going to see is online retailers just won't sell to your state. You'd always be able to leave state. If you have friends that live outside of state, I highly doubt they're just going to be checking your mail. But most manufacturers and retail shops and online sellers that are trying to comply probably won't be shipping to Michigan.
And I dropped the link into the chat that we got all this information from, and of course it's just out there as well. Yeah,
I have a whole bunch of links that I'm gonna put in chat tonight, and I'm gonna try to explain it as easily as I can. The Michigan Constitution essentially states that the governor has the power in a time of crisis, if deemed by the state's Department of Health, can do this. So the Department of Health issued a crisis statement stating, kids are dying, teenagers are sick, young adults are sick, like there's this big lung illness issue going on.
The black market. That is something that needs to be really brought up, is like we're in this moment of time where this black market that's going on is causing all this illness and everything, and then you have this governor, whatever you want to call her, if you want to call her ambitious, or I don't know what the hell people who are on her side are saying.
Is a good word.
She goes and tries to ban flavors, and as from this article, you saw Suck My Mod, he tweeted saying that, she creates more black markets. So if you want to think about it like that, we got a big black market thing going on. A lot of people are, the illnesses, and a couple people have passed away, or I don't know if it's one or two, or if it's even more than that now, but essentially that is what she's doing. Not only is she putting, lives at risk, jobs at risks, and so on and so forth, businesses and everything, but she's also creating another black market. And as of CDC 2017, Michigan's smoking average, what was it? Let's see here. It was like
I believe
it's above
average.
It's above the nation average. It's 19.3% as of 2017.
As of 2018, at the end of 2018, Michigan collected upwards of $1 billion in just tobacco taxes.
It's weird. Does one and one equal two? Does anybody? I mean, this is common sense shit. We can see why, people like her are trying to do these things.
It depends. Are we doing real math? Politicians math.
That's what I was like. Wait, what? For a second, I was like,
because there's real math.
Yeah.
And then there's, for every smoker, 80 kids, or every adult vapor, 80 kids pick up vaping.
But
there's that math.
It's for the kids. It's for the youth.
I mean, if anybody actually
the reasoning
did that
is
math,
it's all about the kids. That's just the biggest cop out.
Here's the thing: if it was really for the youth, they would start an education program for their dumbass parents that let them out to do this kind of thing.
And this is the big talk is always the whole parenting talk. Like, is it the parents' fault? Is it, stricter regulations and more kind of programs like you're saying? And it does go back and forth. But at the same time, eliminating a harm reduction tool is not helping kids. We know T21 doesn't work. And if anything, it's just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's, it's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. There's going to be kids that are going to be deterred from it as far as T21, but there's going to be, like, guess what? When I was almost 18, I was looking forward to what? Buying a scratch ticket. When I was almost 21, I was looking forward to what? Getting a drink. So, maybe there's kids that are going to be deterred from it, but there's going to be those kids that are like, hey, I'm legal now, and I'm going to go smoke, or I'm going to go vape. So it's like, why not have a harm reduction tool available,
And yeah, that's what we're pushing for, is that harm reduction.
Yeah.
And they're going in and taking that away completely. And I'll quote Jay.
Again, well, I'd like to iterate just really quick. Not completely.
Well, I know not completely,
But they are severely hindering the effectiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
effectiveness.
that's
That's a
where I
good
was
point.
That's where I was going, like in Jay's video, where he held up the bottle that just said no flavoring.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it was gross. It was shit.
I mean, who would want to vape that? Nobody. Who wants to vape air? Air and nicotine.
I would assume that you would taste the nicotine more than.
Yeah, and I mean that's all you're gonna get.
It has a
Well, you're
little
gonna get
hint
a
of
little bit of
sweet.
sweetness.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
That's all you
VG has a sweet
Right.
sweetness to it.
And I
As long
also,
as it
yeah,
has-
probably just depending on quality of nicotine.
Another-
probably a
Yeah.
tiny bit of pepperiness.
another big point
Yeah.
besides everything that's going on with Michigan, just all the vaping illnesses and everything with this black market and the THC cartridges and everything, is you're starting to see it on the news. I've had a couple coworkers that came up to me outside. They saw me vaping and they just went off on me. They went off like saying, "Do you know what that stuff does? Are you not seeing people? People are dying from that." And I explained to one person, like I gave him the whole deal. Like this is people are becoming ill and maybe even passing away from black market illegal illicit their drugs, the whole vitamin E acetate and everything that's going on with that. So it's like it's starting to change public perception of what this is, and it's not going to allow people to make the switch if they have interest. You know what I mean? Like people are going to start thinking like, whoa, well that's people are dying from that. Why am I going to go and make the switch? Like I've been doing this for 15 years and I haven't, I'm not a person on the internet with a tube in my throat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like
And that's
there's a
the
lot going on.
reason- Right. The reason that they're seeing it that way is because the media is portraying it that way.
Yeah, the media is the
Yeah.
biggest.
This is e-liquid. This is what vapors use. Okay. What those people had was a black market THC cartridge from Uncle Donnie's garage out of the trunk of the car that he's working on for his buddy down the road. I mean, just being honest.
But the packaging
So
was
it-
professional. What do you mean it came out of Donnie's trunk? Like
Well, yeah.
that looks legit to
buy all that
me.
stuff you can buy it all at DH Gate.
Yeah.
Scan the SKU on the back of it with a phone and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that.
Oh yeah.
I can order
And
that stuff and have that.
I want to
stuff-
iterate.
Go ahead.
I want to iterate one little thing. The damage is done. Even with this, we're still waiting on the CDC because Dr. Redfield just sucks. But even the FDA has come out and basically, a public warning about vaping THC cards, especially those that you buy off the street. But regardless, I want people to know the damage is done. There are people that even if they are now told, "Oh, sorry, it was just the THC cards," are now still just as suspicious anyway. Like that's what they do. That's what they've done. They've connected this to vaping, and even if every media outlet out there said, "Oh, sorry, we made a mistake," still people that will just be like, "Well, I still don't trust it." And it's like, yeah, they've issued, basically saying, yeah, your e-liquid is probably fine, and then CDC is still saying, don't vape anything.
Yeah.
Because again, they're the CDC. And now we have mixed messaging, and we have people that are they're just like, okay, I don't even want to.
Right.
They're just gonna wash their hands clean of vaping, or just never pick it up.
Yeah.
And switch, and that's a huge detriment to public health. I mean, it just
Right. And that's sad for us because we've worked so hard to share the message with people that
right. We
vaping
just
is
don't have
95%.
billions of dollars to work with.
Right.
Here.
Yeah,
Shame.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean we've worked our tails off trying to get the word out there that this is 95% healthier, and all it takes is one media outlet to come out and say, "Whoa, vaping did this and this and this," regardless of getting the entire truth. And I know that happens all the time.
And
with
that's like the
every
biggest
story.
point right there is vaping. They say like vaping. It's never the articles, the headlines are never what is actually going on. It's
yeah.
vaping causes another
I mean, we're
illness.
starting-
Vaping causes a death,
right.
I mean,
we're starting to see it, but for the most
plenty
part,
of
yeah, it's-
plenty of people
I'd
have
like
talked about that.
to address Dan Omylanta in chat really quick.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even the THC inside those cardos, it's the spice in K2, which I reported on a few weeks ago, almost a month ago, about spice. And some of that is, and we know that for a fact because the BBC is reporting back in July. But we are, in fact, finding like carts, actual carts, THC carts, that are junk. There is THC in them. Some of them have been from a distillate issue. Some of them, as we've seen in this Leafly article, which I'm going to show you in a minute, there's a suspicion that it's these thickening agents. There's been suspicion of vitamin E acetate being used. Dr. Farsalinos, if you're not following Dr. Farsalinos on Twitter, please do, because he's been having a wonderful discussion about vitamin E acetate and it not technically being a lipid, which is what you need, which is a fatty oil, which is what would cause lipoid pneumonia, which is a big, what's the word I'm looking for? We think that's what a lot of these young people are experiencing is lipoid pneumonia. And that comes from lipids, which are fatty oils. You don't vape oils. I'm going to make it really easy for everybody to understand really quick. Everything in e-liquid is alcohol-based, okay? And not like alcohol like booze, go drink your rum and cokes. Alcohol, like, it's an alcohol. Alcohols are water-soluble, so our bodies process them very quickly. Are very easily. They don't attach to anything really. They kind of just get flushed out and that's it. We're done with them. We expel them really quickly. Lipids or oils are fat soluble. They attach themselves to fat cells in your body, whether that's in your wherever, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, in your heart and your arteries. They're fat soluble. That's why cannabis users will tell you that it takes quite a bit of time, upwards of a month, to get THC out of your system, because THC in itself is fat soluble. It attaches itself to the fat cells in your body. Everything in e-liquid is water soluble. It wouldn't cause lipoid pneumonia. Going back into that, there's a number of things, Dan, that are really being brought to light and kind of questioned, and they're still really narrowing it down. Have a definitive answer, but I'm going to share this article. Excuse me, burp life. From a couple of sites that were selling thickeners for your THC liquids, and they basically just kind of quietly took all of those off, hoping that no one would notice. But it's 2019, and everyone notices everything. So I'm going to share those, and yes, Dan, some of it is spice and K2. There's more going on than just that. Sorry, that was a lot longer than I wanted it to be. I'll pass the torch. Somebody else can take up the mantle now.
I've been sitting back quiet.
That's what I was gonna say. Jay's quiet. I want to hear. Go off on Michigan. Go into the lung illness and everything. You go right. You look ready.
I was looking at my phone, so I don't want y'all thinking I was like reading text and stuff. I was looking at the email that Anthony Ramilla just sent me. I forwarded it to Shane. I'll forward it to y'all later.
Okay.
And it's a 5-page. It's a 5-page thing for the health department and what's all consisted of this. So I have it all right here, and I mean it's just absolutely crazy and nuts. I got to read like the first paragraph and I was like, all right, this is just stupid. But I've actually called Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I called at least 5 times each day. I think Wednesday, the first day, I called about 10 times. But by Thursday at lunch, the lady knew my name. As soon as I said, "This is Jay," she said, "Your last name's Michael and you're from Texas?" I'm like, "Yep." So she knew exactly who I was. And Dan Omylanta, he said he got a gentleman. I got the lady every time. And every time I called, Gretchen was in a meeting. I'm okay with that. I understand that you're a busy person. You're going to be in meetings. But the stuff I was talking to her about is the exact same stuff that you'll get on an email. It's pretty much the email that if you email into them and saying that you oppose such and such, you're going to get exactly what you're going to get on the call. They're going to read it off word for word every single time. That's all they're going to do. I'm like, are you serious? Like, every single time I call, that's all she would say is, oh, yeah, well, this and that. It's like, no, I mean, what about this? Well, and then she would keep repeating it. I'm like, okay, well, your numbers aren't adding up. Because if there's 80% of high schoolers vaping, that's just absolutely crazy. And if you watch Grimm's stream the other day.
Yeah, it goes onto the chart, the 80% of 3%, or I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, I kept trying to get, like, okay, well, hey, well, can you send me the facts? Well, I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, well, can you send me the research? Oh, I can't do that. I was like, well, can I send you some research that I have? She's like, yeah. I send it, and all I did was send in research just to them, so that way they could read it. I get the same email I got from whenever I said I opposed the bill.
Absolutely.
Or I don't agree with the bill or whatever. And I was like, man,
I've gotten one actual response from a representative once.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's all the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's the copy. It's the copy
blah, blah,
pasta
blah.
email.
Yeah. That's all I've ever gotten is just a copy paste reply.
Yeah, and the thing I get every time I call is, well, why are you so angry about it? Do you have people who live there? No, I don't have family who lives there. I have family who lives near there. I have friends who are losing
They're
their
just
job
human
there.
beings that I give a shit.
It's the point. Yeah, it's the whole point in
Exactly.
general. It doesn't matter that I'm not there right now. Who's to say it doesn't come to my state or something? You know what I mean? Like,
you even have friends and family there to just be concerned. Beings. I didn't know that was a prerequisite.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing I brought up too is like, it doesn't matter if I have friends or family there. It's going to come to my state. It's going to go to someone else's state. This is a harm reduction product. And in my video, I talked about how it's a harm reduction product. Vaping is. The word vaping is a harm. If I could make a definition for it, harm reduction product that contains nicotine. On my video, someone left a comment saying, well, that's not all vaping is because there's CBD you can vape, there's THC you can vape. I still call that smoking weed. I call that smoking CBD, even though you're vaping it. I still call it that because I don't want to associate that with vaping.
there's a term of vaporizing, but then people are using the whole vaping as like, you know, like Grim says, what do you say? They're using it as like a verb, and I think he was like, I don't even know if that's correct, but they're just using it as like a, you know, like we know what vaping is, like what everybody, you know, what people do in general, but
Yeah.
And I don't know how old this term is, just because my focus in the cannabis industry has not been very great in the past few years. I used to pay attention a lot to the cannabis industry, but e-joints, referring to THC cartridges, carts, whatever, as e-joints now. So you have e-cigarettes and e-joints.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else has just seen that thrown around. I've seen it more recently than.
Yeah, I have. But and then one of the other things that really made me angry with calling them was, I understand you have more phone calls to get to, but whenever you have someone calling in state or out of state, and the thing is if someone's calling out of state and you're like, hey, we don't calls from out of state, whatever. Okay, cool, fine. Listen to what I have to say. Hang up on me. But she's like, but the first thing she says is, I don't care what state you're from. We like everyone's opinion and we take it to heart and we actually look at everything. I said, okay, cool. I'm on the phone with her for less than 7 minutes. And the whole time, like every time I bring up something, she would bring up hers. She's like, okay, so you done? Goodbye. I'm like, no, I'm not done. And there was one time she actually hung up on me and I called her straight back and I was like, hey, I wasn't done talking. And I mean, I don't mind that so much, but it's just, when I was talking to the secretary, it seemed like she knew a little bit more about it than what Gretchen did. It seemed like Gretchen was talking out of her ass a little bit on some of it, because I don't know if y'all got to watch some of the videos of her interviews and everything.
the press conference was a joke. Big professional. Big professional.
You could tell that she was just trying to remember what headlines she had read, essentially.
Yeah, because like I even talked to her about the THC cartridges and everything. She's like, no, we're not even grouping that in. We understand that that's harming people, but that's not vaping. I said, okay, cool. But then Gretchen goes on the thing and, oh yeah, well these people doing the THC cartridges is causing, or she's just saying vaping is causing deaths. I'm like, what? I was like, I just called your secretary and it seems like she knows more about it than you, and she's more well-rounded about it and actually researched. But I mean, honestly, the whole thing is just a bunch of BS. And like Anthony said, 4 bottles will give you
I
6
was
months in jail.
I was literally just about to
$200.
say that. I was about to say it stems into that whole misdemeanor. You know, people who are non-violent people are now gonna they can get a misdemeanor if they have
here-
Well, I
like
mean,
you said.
you don't even just law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, just law-abiding citizens are now going to be criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's what the rule actually says. I got the email open. A person who violates any provision of these rules is guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by imprisonment for not more than 6 months or a fine of not more than 200, or both. Violations of Rule 2 are calculated on a per item and per transaction basis and may be punished cumulatively. So if you have,
I believe it's
3
on
bottles?
your person, Jen.
yeah, so 3 bottles, that's $600, or what, 18 months in jail? Or
We're talking
No,
jail.
it can't be more than 6 months, right?
both per
Yeah,
item.
4 bottles is
Oh,
intent
per
to
item.
distribute.
Yeah. Violations of rules 3, 4, and 5
Now-
are calculated daily.
I'm going to take a swing at something here, and this is purely speculation. There's 2 things that I don't think are going to hold up. I don't think that's going to hold the law.
Yeah.
That's really, really overreaching.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think that's going to hold up in a court of law. And I think online is the one that's really on the fence. I think they honestly have a really good chance right now because it is within her power. And there's enough people on her side to see the flavor ban go through in the state.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see the flavor ban. The online thing is questionable. I don't think the 4-bottle misdemeanor crime thing is going to take hold. If that does,
and if I'm
that's-
correct, if it does go into effect, this whole flavor ban, besides San Francisco and what we know is going on over there, this will be the first state with a full flavor
yeah,
ban. Is that correct?
New York tried.
Yeah,
My
they
state tried really hard.
We do have a
and
lot of states
didn't-
are trying. My state, New
and it didn't
Hampshire.
hold up.
New Hampshire's they're supposing a 65% tax on vaping products. I was talking to a shop owner during the middle of the week here, and he was telling me how they go up to Concord and talk to representatives and stuff. So every state is doing a little bit of something, but we now know that if this does go through, it is the first state, besides the whole situation with San Francisco. It's going to be a full statewide ban.
I think they just say container, Luke. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I think that was a container state.
I think it just states container.
Mm-hmm. But then
So
that
whether
can
that be
can
a-
always be turned differently because you're like the Blotto, for example. If you hold that up, Matt, I don't have mine with me. That contains nicotine in it, right? And it's actually a container because it's containing it. So they can go off and they can say any sub-ohm tank, even if you're just dropping inside of a dripper, that could be a container too.
Oh, this is
That's
6
where it
ml
really-
right here. This is a container. It's
And
got
two,
6
I
ml.
think it's such a broad statement because a container could jewel pod, and a container could be a 120 ml bottle,
Right.
Yep.
and that's the difference of 119.3 mils.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
I was reading
It's
this
just
article and it's interesting. Like the whole, I dropped it in the chat. It goes on to say, laws are made by legislators, not governors desperate for press attention. Greg Connolly.
Is this
a direct
Greg
quote. And it's-
Connolly?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
indeed.
And it's just, it's as simple as that. It's like between the press
Thank God
conference
for
and
Greg
everything.
Connolly.
Oh, if you're
Thank
not
God
following him
for-
on Twitter, I'm sure anybody who's in this chat, I'd
follow
like to
Greg
say,
THR if
Yeah.
you're not, because he's amazing.
Yeah.
If you're not following him, if you're not following Hello Alex, Hello_Alex, that's Alex Clark from CASA, follow him. Follow Charles A. Gardner. I need to get back on doing this, but for a while I was putting a list of people to follow on Twitter in the descriptions on the Rise and Vape Show episodes. I'm going to start doing that again because there are a number of even more people. Since
yeah, I was going to
my
say,
last
it just,
list
it keeps growing as well.
of amazing advocates to follow because
Yeah.
yeah, and
You
one
absolutely
more
should.
thing on Michigan, if you aren't calling, even if you don't live in the state, if you have a minute on your lunch break while you're just like, what I do is I have an hour lunch break, so I call at least twice. When I first get on lunch, when I get off lunch, and then if I go outside and I go vape for 5-10 minutes, I'll call them because I'm only on the phone with them for like 5 minutes. Just give them a call, because if not, this is going to keep going somewhere else. And someone said, it's not someone said, but this is something that she can re-review this in 6 months. Well, think about how many jobs are going to get shut down in 6 months because of this.
Yeah.
How many people don't have the funds?
Yeah, that's all it's going to take is 6 months.
Yeah. And then the thing is the guy was like, well, I mean, I honestly think she's gonna review it in 6 months. Do you really think she's honestly gonna review it in 6 months? I mean, honestly, if we call enough and we get enough people together and like all this and that, like hoping for the best, yeah, I think she could. But do you honestly think someone who's sleeping in the same bed as Big Tobacco and getting funded by Big Tobacco and their whole state is and everything and her campaign, do you really think that this is going to be the first thing on her mind? Is, in 6 months, I think I'll reopen.
Yeah. And I'm just really quick. The $6,000 or whatever that she gets from tobacco companies.
Yeah.
I want people to remember, Altria counts as a tobacco company, right? Altria also basically owns a number of other things.
Yeah.
Kraft mac and cheese, for example. Like, because of the way they word that description that she's gotten this much from tobacco companies, it's not a lot to begin with. It's like $6,000.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's not like tobacco funded her campaign and you know, but it's one of those weird areas where, like, yeah, you know, maybe she has contributions from Altria, which is an owner of a tobacco company, but also owners of lots of other things, and they may have been grouped right in with, you know what I mean? It's a wording thing too. I think people carried away and they don't quite dive into.
Yeah, and I have actually a conspiracy theory that me and a buddy at my work, he's a pastor, and I'm actually helping his mom stop smoking and start vaping at the age of like 60 something, almost 70, and she's actually enjoying it as long as I keep providing her liquid or I keep giving them links to go order liquid.
And it's not that non-flavored, right? Like, it's like she likes flavors. Like, she's 60, you said, and she likes flavors, right? Like, she didn't stop liking flavors as like a kid, right?
Yeah. I gave her actually the Pachamama apple, the Fiji apple one. She loved it. I gave her strange fruit rotten candy. She loved it. And I'm like, oh, look, she loves flavors.
Huh.
But what
Who
he
would
was
have thought?
talking about was he's like, well, where do you think these cardos are coming from? He's like, do you really think they're coming from someone's house or this and that? He's like, or just a conspiracy theory. Do you think that Big Pharma or Big Tobacco or someone's making them so that way they can get rid of vaping and only have the ones that are FDA approved on the market? No. I mean, I don't think there are either, but I mean, it brought up a good question. It brought up a good question of, like, okay, maybe someone else on the side's doing this to try to get rid of vaping. I don't think it was. I don't think that they're. I mean, honestly, I don't think they have.
I think it comes down to one, people making a quick buck.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things. I mean, if you go into any drug, say any drug at all, the reason why we have fentanyl in our heroin is because of cost. The reason that reason why we cut cocaine with borax is because of cost. Is so people can make a cheap dollar.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now in the world of THC vaping is people literally just making a cheap dollar and selling something, whether they knew would hurt anyone or not, was just a cheap way to cut it down and make more money off of it. And that's honestly all. And this is all just a product prohibition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, Texas is not a legal state, but I know someone who actually purchased one of the what are they called, dank vapes or whatever carts. And they said
Vape is literally just a company that sells boxes, and I don't even know if they sell the empty carts or not. I believe they do.
Yeah.
But that's all it is just like a packaging and cheap cart company.
Yeah, but someone from Texas actually I know purchased one and didn't know all the facts about it yet. And they were like, I took like 2 or 3 hits, and I was like, nah, I can't. No, this is not normal. And I was like, first of all, go throw that away. And they said that household pharmacists in our state are like, they can't even sell them. They're just pretty much giving them away because no one wants them.
Even if the packaging like looked legit, I mean, if you're not buying it from like a legitimate shop, you know, where well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to count on reviews or if you trust the shop or if you know people, but it's like if you're not buying it from a trusted shop that's got plenty of reviews, or you know that this shop has been around, or you know whatever needs, you know, whatever you need to have that pure, like yeah, I'm okay with this shop, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, who is gonna, if anything, that just looks more weird. Like, oh yeah, my buddy Jim, you know, gave me this. Look at this. The packaging looks legit. Like, are you kidding me? If I didn't buy it from a store and I got something with, you know, pristine packaging, that's like a red flag to me right there. But you know, Logan goes on. We've talked about how, you know, teens are dumb, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, here's
And one thing Dan put in chat I want to touch on real quick is about 2 months ago the governor separated tobacco and
That's what I
vaping
was about
products.
to say.
And honestly, I think Dan thought it was a good thing too, because I brought it up in Discord one time. And he's like, "Hell yeah, we did." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I thought it was a good thing. I thought, okay, this is a hope right here. Maybe this is something where they're gonna start doing something a little bit different than every other state. Hell no, they didn't. They I honestly try to hope for the best, but I expect the worst on everything. And that was one of the things I was like, dude, this could be awesome. But what if this is just one way to do what they're doing now? And it is, and it sucks because I mean, yeah, oh well, let's screw the people over who are trying to have something 95% safer alternative for you. But the people who are still smoking, yeah, you can still die. And that's one thing I always kept bringing up in the calls is there's almost 500,000 just in the United States alone. In the United States alone, 500,000 people are dying from not being able or not making the switch or anything like that, just from smoking combustible cigarettes. And the thing is, they were just like pretty much like, oh, we know. I'm like, okay, well, how many more people do y'all want to die? Now your state, who is the leading state for smoking percentages or whatever, and leading state for percentage of unemployment.
I don't think they're the leading state. They're just above the national.
Yeah, but I mean, how many more people does she want to die is what I'm thinking. I don't think she wants anyone to die. I understand what she's doing, but it's just like, why get rid of something that can help people out whenever there's that many people dying? How is that not a crisis?
$990 million, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. It's
That's just taxes. That's just taxes.
It's funny.
Well,
That's not
pretty much
MSA
they're
payments.
saying wherever the people go above the amount of money we get, then we'll say something might be a little off, but they don't want to worry about it yet.
I have like a funny little joke with some of the guys at my work because I try and work a lot of overtime and stuff. So when I go in and some of the guys will be like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" and I'll be on the radio because it's loud and shit. We have radios and everything, and I'll say like, "Oh, like money makes you do crazy things, doesn't it?" And it's like that's it's money. We're talking about money, and it's not just like that was just a little side joke. But what's going on here is obviously beyond ridiculous. We're talking about money, and it's making people do. It's making things happen that are just beyond like comprehension. Like anybody, like my girlfriend's a non-smoker, non-vapor, and I've explained like many things to her. Just trying to talk to somebody with an open mind, and she's like, "What are you kidding me? Like, what are they talking about? Like, what is going on?" And it's like, wow, I'm glad somebody can see. I don't know what's going on in their heads. It must be all the dollars, the zeros, because it's like Dan said here. 1,300 people die a day from smoking, and it's like, is that not a crisis? Like he just said, is that not a crisis?
Vapor for Life Gin. Oh, sorry.
But
Go ahead,
also,
Logan.
there's a paradox to all of this that a lot of us tend to forget about. Even though, yes, states only spend on average less than 10% of their MSA payments on tobacco prevention and education.
I was just about to say,
those
if you were going to
tobacco
say
taxes and those MSA payments do go towards building your roads. They do go to your schools. They do go to community programs. Like all of the state's taxes are pooled into a giant pool and then distributed out from there. Now, yeah, you have overpaid governors, you have overpaid mayors, you have overpaid members of Congress and representatives, and I agree with all of that, but that money that's pooled does go into the state. So when people are talking about, we need to completely get rid of, tobacco, just what if we banned it right now? States would go broke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All your government programs would go broke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a paradox here where we need to find a way to keep money in states' hands without it being
Costing
the
lives.
death and disease of their citizens.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a middle
And
ground, but
that's-
I wanted to like retract that because like where is your middle ground? We're talking about people dying. Like yeah, we need states to be able to do everything that you're saying, but just not at the cost of 480,000 deaths a year.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm an advocate for human rights. So if you want to smoke, hell, go smoke. I don't give a shit.
Oh
Go
yeah, I mean, definitely.
But the whole thing is, don't get rid of something that is a better alternative that can keep people alive for longer and not get these horrible diseases where they're going to suffer. And I mean, even if they say, oh well, a bunch of people who live in poverty are the people who are mainly smoking. If they don't have the money to go through those treatments, then they're definitely suffering from all the illnesses that they're going to get from this, and it sucks.
Oh yeah,
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, take cancer research centers, cancer-focused hospitals, we'll say. Without smokers coming in with cancer and getting treatment and paying and funding these hospitals, essentially, where does the money come from to treat cancer patients who were never smokers?
Well, what we need is a true.
This is
number.
the paradox of all of this, and it's a really big. I think that's the biggest question, and I think whether we want to say tons of money is going into politicians' pockets, and it shouldn't be. Career politicians shouldn't even be a thing. I totally understand, and I agree with everybody's sentiment there. But where else does the money come from? We've built a society on the backbone of tobacco money.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to have that true number of cigarette cancer and non-cigarette cancer. Where is the number on the scale?
There's even a percentage in there of people who are smokers that got cancer. It's not related to their smoking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's fully understandable, but I also know
it is a thing. Like if a human being smoking, then it's reasonable enough to believe that a human being who is smoking could get cancer that's not caused by that smoking.
Right. I mean, that's the same. You're kind of speaking in these terms. I know a guy that I wouldn't say we were friends, but we knew each other. He was 40. Yeah, he was 48 years old. He ran marathons. He did Ironmans, all this other stuff. He got up one morning, went for a jog around his neighborhood, got halfway around his neighborhood and collapsed, had a heart attack right there. The guy was in the best shape for any 40-plus person I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
So
and it's that's a thing like with that kid in the blebs we talked about a while back. Everybody remembers the kid with the blebs.
Yeah.
That just happens regularly. Tall, slender, especially men. This is an issue with. I had a friend who is he's 6'7", something like that. Real slender. Collapsed along playing Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically told him the same thing. Like these blebs are more common in tall, slender men. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to just be. You don't have to be a. It had nothing to do with vaping, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. And one thing I want to do is I mean, if I had the money to fund this, I would probably go do it right now. To a doctor, tell him, hey, I'm not having any problems, but I want you to check out my whole body, check out my lungs and everything. But I'm not going to mention vaping, smoking, dipping, anything. I want him to check it out and see if he sees anything. If he says, no, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't see anything. Your lungs are super healthy, super strong. Well, I've been vaping for, 5 years total.
I cloud comp every day, bro.
And then he's gonna start drawing on it. No, you see those right there on your lungs. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's for vaping.
He's gonna pull a Trump with Hurricane Dorian or whatever. Whatever the hurricane's called.
My doctor knew that I smoked, and I went in last year, and I said, okay, I'm finally done. I'm not smoking anymore. And she said, okay. And 6 months. I go to the doctor every 6 months because I'm diabetic. So I went in the next 6 months, and she said, your lungs sound fabulous. And she doesn't even know that I vape. Never mentioned anything about it. But all of a sudden, 6 months after I quit smoking, my lungs sound fabulous. And I've been vaping ever since, all day, every day.
Mhm.
But, my lungs sound fabulous. So explain that to me. That's just for the antis that are out there. And they'll come up with something sooner or later, that's going to.
Oh, it's an endless battle on Twitter, of
Yeah,
course. Everybody.
I mean,
So everyone, if you're
it's
over
gonna
there,
be
you know it.
Yeah, it's some fabrication that they're going to come up with that it does this, and this. I had somebody ask me the other day if I'd ever heard of Swiss cheese lung. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know, but they say vaping causes it. And I'm like,
That's when you
did
say
know?
no, but since I've been vaping, I've had or
Yeah.
something. Just
Yeah.
I go something ridiculous like
They're gonna
it's-
start calling it SpongeBob lung or something. I don't know.
yeah. Oh yeah,
No.
sponge lung is next for sure.
Yeah. No, my lungs are fine, but boy, when I fart, you better clear the room. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, and
Anthony makes a
you guys
good
hear
point
my
in the
cat?
chat.
This cat's crazy.
Jumping around, I heard that. Anthony makes a good point in the chat, just saying lack of education is the cause, and lack of education.
It's absolutely
yeah.
just like a civil rights fight. Yes.
Yeah.
Harm reduction in general is always with great resistance because it means change, and it means old white people in power having to do more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where career politicians are a terrible thing.
I think
Terrible,
we've
terrible.
I
This
think we've
comes down
discussed
to-
like change with that.
A lot of
older
it, yeah.
generation.
A lot of it comes down to
before.
change. It's not do anything.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? They just think it's smoking. There's obviously our media is influencing a lot of these people. Like they just don't want to deal with it, so they want to shut it down. They want to go back to collecting their tax money, and that's it. They want to be done with it. They don't want to deal with all of this. This means work.
Yep.
And when you're a career politician, it's nice to just get into your comfy chair and pretend you do a job and go home every night.
Because
But
that's what
this
you've
right
been
now
doing for the past 30
requires
years.
Stress, and there are eyes on them right now to do something.
Right.
And so they're just trying to please people. Yeah, sure, we'll ban it. We'll shut it down.
Yeah, get it out of here. I've been doing the same thing for 30 years. You think I want more work? No. Get it out of here. We'll do
Yeah.
whatever. Yep, you agree. Yep, nobody wants to do anymore. Let's get it out of here. That's
Then again, you can take that premise and apply it to take our story. It took me 5.5, 6, probably a good 6 months of dual use to finally stop smoking. It was a downright battle. I know some people have had it that way. I know, Logan, it took you a few days? I think's what
Yeah,
you
like
said.
just
a week.
shy of a week.
Yeah. And, some people it happens that way. And the advocates out there also need to understand that, because change for us was hard, going from smoking to vaping. So change for these legislators having to get all this research and understand, and I understand that's their job, is to get all the facts for their constituents and present the facts and make an educated decision. Okay. But it's also a lot of change, and we had to go through all that change. So we need to give them at least the benefit of the doubt for us to provide them the education that they need in a way that's not coming off like a dickhead.
Yeah.
We don't need to be an asshole. And I have a tendency to be that way.
I can be too.
Yeah,
Sometimes, just a little.
I have a bad tendency of just being very straightforward. I'll just vomit the words right out.
Oh yeah.
And I think it and it comes out.
Yeah.
But we have to be very careful with that. And that's something that Jay and I talked about on the Weekend Wisdom a lot. You need to be advocating, you need to be active in what you're doing, but you also have to present yourself in a way where people will respect you just by looking at you.
Yeah.
Because
and that's
they're
like,
going to make a snap judgment as soon as they see you walk in. And that's not the correct way to be. Because
It's just
we're getting-
reality.
Yeah,
Yes,
it really is.
We have
see
emotions.
somebody-
It's like
you see somebody like Chuck Allen, and I respect Chuck with everything I have, but you see Chuck with his tattoos and stuff like that, and you think, oh, that dude's a biker. Same with Jay. A biker. He's a sorry human being, and all this other stuff. But Chuck is one of the most knowledgeable and probably one of the nicest people out there. If you give him the opportunity to speak to you, that's what it comes down to. These legislators need to give the people the opportunity to speak. And I think that town hall meeting, and y'all are going to say I'm crazy for this, it should be like a confessional. I don't think the legislators need to see who they're speaking to.
Yeah,
I do.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
I do. It's okay for us to disagree. I completely think that, I have not had the opportunity to go one of these because it hasn't been anywhere close to me. But when it comes, because it will come, I want to be able to look someone directly in the eye, ask them if they're okay with their friends and family and my friends and family continuing to suffer from tobacco-related disease. Mm-hmm. I want to ask them if they're okay with that. And, I want to see someone. I want to look directly. I don't want to be in a box. I don't want to pray on a Bible before I talk to a judge.
No.
I know. I see both sides. Both sides.
I literally just want to. I was just kidding about the Bible thing. I just took your confessional comparison.
Oh, no.
If it allows the point to get across without preconception or judgment, if it allows, that's the idea. You know what I mean? But
like, if you want to.
Right. Yeah. If you want.
Yeah, sure. I would be okay with it being optional. I think too, because a lot of people have,
stage fright.
That's what I was about to say. Is like some people, they might not even, they might have it all memorized, and then when they get face to face, and they just,
Yeah, they just freeze. And I would totally be okay with that. But I would definitely. It wouldn't be for me. I would want to be there, present.
Oh, I would want to be out in front of them too. But I know that there's.
I want to look somebody right in the eye.
Yeah, that are super educated. They are very well spoken, but people will make snap judgments on them.
Oh, yeah.
Think about, I know Jay and I talked about how much biker, they don't call them biker gangs anymore, but biker associations have done for kids, for people in need.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about
motorcycle clubs do amazing things for.
Exactly. But they are judged just simply on their appearance. They have a leather jacket on with a big beard and a bandana on, and you all, not us. I don't think anybody in here or in the chat would make that kind of judgment simply because we're not that type of people. Mm-hmm. But there are people out there that will make that snap judgment just on how you look. I don't agree with it. I can't stand it. If I want to grow my beard out 2.5 feet long and grow a skullet and dye it blonde just like Hulk Hogan, I should be able to do that.
A skullet.
Heck yeah. Well, I don't have anything on top, so it would definitely be a skullet.
I mean, we're always going to judge people.
Of course.
Right.
And we say that we shouldn't.
No.
But we also have to understand that judging people when we first see them is a very primitive thing. It's a very survival-based, primitive, natural thing for us to make first judgments on somebody when we see them. You know what I mean? That goes back millennia. And when do these people look peaceful? Do these people look threatening? Am I in danger for my life? It's a very primal thing. Yes, we should try our best to reserve those judgments, but I think as human beings, we're always going to have them.
I like what Saddlehorse said in the chat. It's just, and it goes to like what a lot of people are saying. Just regulate. Don't eliminate. Just regulations. If they need to go into effect and blah blah blah. It should be available.
I think that we should treat it like other adult products.
Yeah,
I mean,
like Saddlehorse said. It's freedom of choice, and that's the idea of it. If harm reduction is available, and it should be available, and people should be able to make a choice. You should be able to walk into a gas station and see, do I want, cigarettes or, 95%, at least 95% health. That's what it, and...
I mean, people, I'm not, I'm not a prohibitionist by any means. I do not think that conventional traditional tobacco cigarettes should be banned.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not a prohibitionist. I don't think that's right. If somebody wants to smoke, that's their right as an adult American to smoke.
But make the harm
I just
reduction
think that
tool
people should be
available and
educated
exactly
and given the options.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that we need to have some honesty and we need to have options. And I had a discussion with somebody on Twitter a while ago, and I don't want to get into any arguments or anything. I want to see how you feel about this. We like to call ourselves harm reduction advocates. But I had a discussion with somebody on Twitter, and I tried to be as polite as I possibly could about harm reduction for other addictions, and talking about heroin addiction and other people that use other drugs. Should we also make sure that we're giving them harm reduction as well, or do you feel heroin addicts should be forced into rehab and the quit or die mentality stands? Because that was the conversation that I had. He was very adamant about tobacco harm reduction and saving vaping, but very against harm reduction for other drug use. And I feel it's a little selfish. I feel that's a little hypocritical. You're like, I want harm reduction for me, more for me and not for them. They made bad choices. I mean, you made bad choices too.
No, I mean, I agree with, the idea of it should be kind of like universal. With a negative, there should be a positive, and you should be able to choose, obviously, what you want to put into your body. But if there's something healthier or, that's available, harm reduction, that's what we talk about all the time. That's why people wear hard hats in work areas and everything. It should be available, and you should be able to get the education for it and everything,
Right. And
Yes.
my thought on this is you see all these rehab facilities. I used to watch that show Intervention all the time, and you see these places they take them to, and they're on this desert sandscape with this nice building and all this nice stuff inside, and they're having to pay for that. I don't think rehab, if somebody says I need help, I want to go to rehab, they need to sign the contract with the place and not pay a dime if they stay the allotted amount of time. If they decide to leave early, I think they should pay at that point.
Now, how do you feel about, because this is another thing, somebody comes in with a heroin problem or pain problem or whatever, and they have to remain completely clean. That even means quitting smoking and nicotine use. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't think they should.
I think if it's
Simply
for something that's legal, that like Shane's saying, I say no. But if it's
Right.
something like illegal, staying clean, then yes. That's what I think. I mean, even though it's still addictive, it's still, some people consider it a drug or something like that. I see it as how Shane sees it as, probably is no, they should still be able to have nicotine, cigarettes, jewels, tobacco, whatever they
But
want.
we're talking about the difference between anything that's psychoactive and something that isn't.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Because tobacco and nicotine, nicotine is a drug. For anybody that doesn't know, the definition of a drug is anything that alters the mind, body, or both. That's drug in shorthand.
Right.
And nicotine is a drug. Caffeine is a drug.
And I love both.
So when we say, you should be drug-free, that would include, technically, no caffeine, no nicotine. You would, not to offend anybody, you would basically be a Mormon. Mormons are very no anything, no substance use, no caffeine, no, you can't have coffee, you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't. I've been learning a lot about Mormon. I go on weird things where I just learn stuff. Yeah, so these rehabilitation centers, you're trying to get somebody something that's not only psychoactive but potentially very harmful and could be life-threatening. Should we allow them to use something that's non-psychoactive, or should they just?
I like this
be
discussion.
forced to be completely clean.
I like what we're talking about here, but I noticed a good comment in the chat. I want to ask what you guys' thoughts are on it, just to kind of get back on. So what we're talking about. Vape Life Jen said, how do we stop more states from going Michigan on us? And
Call.
Yeah.
Email. Right.
Yeah.
Get
That's all I can
involved.
really
I think overall what it takes is obviously, I think it takes a lot of people just to show that a lot of people care about what we're talking about, and like Jay just said, call, write, show up when you can, and speak if you can or if you would, and all that. And it's just all you can do is be active against these things, and as we're all discussing, in a manner that's appropriate, and emotions and everything like that. You got to be professional about it, but it's just about about being active and being able to do these things, and then just kind of, I don't know, I hate to say it, but kind of hope for the best. I mean, all we can do is show that we care, that we're here, and that
Mm-hmm.
The only person that I reserve
be very self-aware.
for is Jerome Adams. I'm not nice to Jerome Adams. I'm pretty nice to everybody else.
I saw that. I think I saw in the Discord that you showed that he blocked you, right? Did he block you? Or no, he said, like, bro, you want a hug? He said, bro, you want to...
Scott Gottlieb blocked me.
But Jerome Adams,
Jerome
I think
Adams
he
asked
said,
me if
bro,
I
you
knew
want a
him.
hug? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So he had tweeted about how the Navy leaving and her time is up and whatever. And so I simply responded, when do we get to say goodbye to you? Which isn't for another 2 years. But I was just curious. And so he asked me, he said, ouch, do you need a hug, bro? You as Surgeon General, for one, asked me if I wanted a hug. And for two, seems to think I'm his bro.
It's interesting. It's interesting when they choose to reply to certain things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people on Twitter, and everybody.
I said, I basically said no. I don't need any hugs.
Everybody replies to these, officials with plenty of articles and everything, and then you get reply to that. Bro, do you need a hug? Like, it just kind of shows, like,
because I asked him when we could say, and it wasn't his personal on the USSG account, which he tends to reply to people less on.
Yeah. But another thing I think
maybe I need a hug
is not just call Michigan, because believe me, the first day by 3:00 Central Time, the voicemail box was already full, and I was like, "Holy shit! I hope that's all vapors." And I asked her, I said, "Well, what's the statistics of vapors that have called you?" So we get a number of calls for a number of different reasons. So
of course, the cop-out answer, they're not going to tell you that. It'd just be ammunition, for you to use.
They literally might not.
Yeah, I was just wondering, but call Michigan, of course. Try to help out another state because it's going to come to your state after. And also, like a whole bunch of other people say, call your state representatives. Call your local, the person who's over the whole state and everything, because
how many people here can name
are on it, and you can also send them data. And another thing I want to bring up is what Thick Nick. I don't know if y'all watched his video that he just came out with the other day. He went live for a little bit before That's What She Said. And if y'all haven't watched it, y'all need to go watch it, because he came out pretty much saying he's back. He's not doing any reviews. He's only doing advocacy. And he's doing something to show people how to be the best advocate. And it's one thing that really hurt me too and it was sickening watching a whole bunch of vapors do it. I know, like, not a lot of people who are in the government are going to be on Instagram and stuff, but all these people making videos calling this lady a B word, a C word, a D word, all this stuff. I'm like, believe me, in my mind and in my heart, I was like, I wanted to say it.
Fucking right on.
Yeah, but then I'm like, you know what? Let's not go there. But then there's so many people who just on the spot made that video. Just, oh yeah, F this, F that, you, yada yada. I'm like, okay, I understand. Yeah, that's how I wanted. That's pretty much how I thought my video was gonna go. Glad it didn't, because I was like, you know what? There's gonna be some language in there, but it's not gonna be like that, because I'm not gonna refer stuff about her. Just be respectful, and call her, call every other state, and I know emotion's gonna take over, of course. But the thing that really sucks is people let emotion take over, putting these videos out, and then it just goes. It can go somewhere else, and it could be like, oh hey, look, well there's all these videos after this. This just shows like what vapors are on impulse. This is what happens whenever we do something to them. Oh, well, let's try it in this state and let's see if it happens again. And it sucks because, we want to be able to speak our mind and our heart at that time, but we need to be able to be calm. And that's one thing Thick Nick was talking about. He said he was disgraced. He said it was disgraceful. It was disheartening seeing that. And honestly, I agreed with him. Yeah, it sucked seeing that, but people want to get their mind or clear their mind right then and there, and I understand it. Believe me,
I think you need a healthy mix of both. And I'm gonna just to play devil's advocate a little bit. I think that politicians need to see both sides. They need to see people calmly presenting information, giving it to them the right way, and they also need to see just how upset people
How drastically people are damaged by what's.
I think that they need to see both. Like, there's no sense of urgency if everybody is calm.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is a way to.
There's a way to achieve both.
Right. There's a way to voice your opinion and let them know how you feel, but not be a dickhead.
Yeah, be respectful, but be demandful. Get your point across and get it to them. And if they try to like start changing the subject or what about this? No. I'm talking about this. And that's a couple of times I've had to do that to the lady I was talking to. And it's like, I want to say, just shut up and listen.
But the dickheads have their spot too. Like that's reality. That's realism. That's people being, their truest. Some people being their truest self, and there's whether the impact is positive or negative. It does show how people actually feel as well.
There is some situations where you do need the bulldozer.
Yeah,
and that person can be useful. The people that make the most impact, though, are the people with the logical, sensible argument.
Yeah. Or as what John Maxwell says, the hammer law. You're not going to go up to a fly and use a hammer to kill it. You're going to use the fly swatter. So the hammer law. If no one's ever looked up John Maxwell, it's a bunch of stuff that's just common sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, holy crap, why didn't I think of it this way? The hammer law. Yeah. You know when to use the hammer, know when to use the fly swatter, or know when to use the feather, whatever you want to refer to. But like Shane's saying, there's times where you need to use that hammer. You need to beat the hell out of that nail, and there's times where there's a fly, and you just need to use.
Jay, is that a challenge to kill a fly with a feather? Because if that's a challenge to kill a fly with a feather,
it's a challenge for anyone with marble countertops to kill a fly with a hammer.
That I will not accept that challenge.
Yeah, no.
I will take on the fly.
I want to.
When I come back with a fly that's been impaled by a quill pen.
Hey, if I see it, I'm okay.
Yeah,
you can't catch it, shake it up, and then smash it real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna find a dead one and stab it and be like, Jay, look what I did.
I saw John Maxwell. I think it was last year, and I have this little bracelet on, and it says on there, "Be a leader worth following."
Yep.
And that's something that really has stuck with me that he talked about during that time. And like Jay said, if you haven't ever seen this guy, look him up. The stuff that he says, it makes so much sense. But it'll be something, I never looked at it that way. And this is something that has really impacted me, especially with coming on YouTube. I was doing what I'm doing now in the background, but there wasn't enough out there of people really stepping into the light. And Dan mentioned it in the chat. We need a spokesperson for all vapors. That is a dream that will never happen. I hate to say it, but it will never happen. I think
it's unachievable.
Yeah, you will never
having a spokesperson for all anything.
Yeah,
just like too many people. People against it and people with it. I mean, it's like the same thing with everything in life.
But here's the thing: we will never find that person that has the clout, so to speak, that everyone can get behind. That's
I mean, no matter what, you're gonna have someone who wants to do something that people want to. Like, no matter what you do, there will be somebody that doesn't agree with you. Yeah, that's just life.
So we are we're getting right around our time here. We're getting pretty lengthy.
I vote Matt. Raging Vapor votes Matt. That guy Matt 2020.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think he's old enough, but we'll give it a shot.
I thought he was still. He's
heard about the. Man, he's old enough.
Thought he was still heard about the dead goat, but I got an I vote Matt in the chat, so amen to that. So I guess as we kind of wind down here, going about an hour and a half now, kind of want to just end with like some final thoughts as far as from everybody as our guests, of course, Weekend Wisdom. What you guys are thinking on Michigan, the outlook of Michigan, if we're going to see, well, maybe not if, but when or if we're going to see more of it everywhere else, and just kind of, I don't know, general thoughts about what we talked about today and everything like that.
Closing statements.
Closing statements. Like, I feel like I'm in a political. What do you guys think about Michigan? That whole sort of thing. Is it all going to pay off? And that sort of.
Well, Well, I went first for the buffet, so I'll let Jay go first.
There we go,
for
Jay.
The, closing statement.
Well, I get the first closing statement out of the 4 of us, so why not? I mean, honestly, I see it coming around quick. You see it happen in one county, one city, wherever. I see it coming around quick. Less than probably by the end of the year, I see it spreading to more states. More states are going to keep following along because I mean it's a domino effect. You see it in a county or a city, a county, then a state says, okay, we might do it, and then you see a state says, screw that, we're gonna do it, and then you know what? There's going to be more states to not really even come out with something to people to be able to oppose. It's just going to be, hey, we're coming out with this. Hope y'all are okay with it. Goodbye. And I see it happening. I see it's going to happen more and more. So that's why I always say, call your local representative. Try to help out when you can, because there's some states who won't even take, or they'll take phone calls, but they like if you try to email in and stuff like that, or use their actual website where you can oppose a bill, they won't actually even listen to it. They'll just, hey, we're not from our state, sorry. So at least Michigan's they're letting people do that, which I'm thankful for that they're letting people do that, and they're actually trying to have people in there actually getting opinions out, not just in their state. So I mean, just call every state that this is happening to. Make sure you're helping out. Like whenever it happened in Mass, I made sure I called to try to help with that. Anywhere it happens, I try to call to be able to help out. I don't have the most free time, but I have some. So I mean, why not use it instead of just sitting there scrolling through pictures on Instagram, looking at some vape porn and stuff? Might as well do that. So. But then also make sure you call your representative. Like Shane always says, if it's not happening to you right then and there, be prepared. So instead of being prepared and just sitting back with all your facts, make sure you're calling, make sure you're writing, hey, I saw this happen to a local state or a state close by or a state far away. What's your thoughts on this? And just emails, calls, write letters, whatever. But just make sure you have your facts before you call. I mean, there's times where I've called and emotion has taken over, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just stop this right now. I'm just going to talk about some other stuff with them about vaping and stuff like that. But just make sure you have your facts. Don't let emotion take over. If it does, take a deep breath. Remember why you were calling, because you're trying to defend something that you believe. Take a deep breath. That's all you got to do. Woosah, woosah. Yeah. Keep talking.
Yep. Logan's like, he grabs his phone. He's like,
what did I do whenever I call?
Let me tell you something that you.
Yeah.
But every time I call, I have my vape with me, and I guarantee you, they're like, "Dude, this guy's just chain vaping." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I am."
I'm not gonna do that again.
Fuck out, man.
Yeah, that's the reason I keep this in my pocket, and I have my little MTL set up in my bag, because that way, when I'm on the phone, nobody hears me vape, but I'm just constantly going at it. You know, I reiterate everything Jay just said. And, you know, I say it all the time, and I don't want you guys to ever take it for granted, but you have to let your voice be heard. And now is the time that you need to step up. Yeah. I mean, we've been saying it. We've been doing the Weekend Wisdom together for, 15 episodes now?
Yeah, about that much.
Probably around that. And, you know, I hope that we have impacted that one person, because that's
all it takes.
That's all it takes is just one person to finally say, I've had enough and I want to make a change. Here is what I'm going to do. I've got all these facts that were shared with me, and I've researched my own facts, and now I'm going to take them and I'm going to make a difference. Yeah. That's what you have to do. There is no way around it. You see what's happening in Michigan, and my heart goes out to every vapor in Michigan. And you know, we know people. Dan in the chat is a district or regional manager at a vape shop. You know, I know they have, I think, 2 or 3 different locations that they run, and it's one of those. You know, I know Dan has a family. Dan has a house. You know, what is going to happen to Dan? And you know, his boss, I think his name was Ryan. He was on the Vape Stew last night. Super nice guy. You know. Just seems really chill, and you know, I think about him and his family, and not just them two, but everybody else. And I know there's multiple vape shops in the state of Michigan. This is not just a city, this is an entire state that's saying no flavor. And I had the question earlier.
Yeah, don't quote me, but I think I read something 6 or 7,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no. She actually went on the call. She actually told me how many vapes are in the Michigan. There's 1,200. It was either 1,200 or 12,000. 12,000 sounds a little high, but there's 1,200 shops in Michigan. If even half, like say half of them just go away because of this in the 6-month period. Sorry to interrupt though, but that's at least 600. And then you think about how many people are working there, anywhere from 2 to 6, even more people.
I'm gonna say probably somewhere between 6 to 12. I would say, depending on the size of the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, think about how many people's jobs are in lives.
I think I read something. It was like 6 or 7,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's 6 or 7,000 families.
Right.
So then you multiply that by how many people in a family rely on income. You're affecting tens of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing you got to think about, I don't know if a lot of you shop at my VPRO, they're based out of Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Yeah, actually, so to talk on that, my VPRO had a Labor Day, and that's where I picked up the Tasia Lemonade, because they were like a 2-pack for like $12. I was like, well, that's a decent lemonade, and I can get 4 bottles for like $25. Sure, I'll pick some up while the sale's going on. It got held in Michigan because the next day was when she made that announcement.
Oh wow!
They held it for another day to clarify whether or not they could even. Yeah.
So I mean, think about that. They ship nationwide, and they're the contact for Vandivape.
I mean, they're gonna do what like local vape did. Basically, they're probably just gonna move.
Yeah, and I mean they just moved. That's the bad part.
Yeah, they're just gonna move again.
Yeah.
Which is horrible, but I mean, choice
but
that they have.
I mean, eventually, we're just gonna have one state left.
Yeah.
Like,
the industry of vaping.
Yeah, like Iowa, and the Attorney General in Iowa, fantastic human being. Iowa is just gonna be like the vape state.
Yeah.
It's like when Colorado first legalized, and like half the to Colorado, everybody's just gonna to Iowa because it's gonna be the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Zion is in Iowa.
End up in Iowa or Delaware or Maryland. Like the
somewhere where they're just boring. Like, we don't even care.
Yeah.
So the fight's not over, and it's
not.
everybody everybody knows it's shit mountain. Me and Logan talk about it all the time. It's shit mountain, but it's not hopeless. And
no,
as we've said, all you
can get on here and voice our opinions and try to help as much as we can.
Yeah.
And also have a good time, because I love you guys. I love to laugh and I love to have a good time, but I also understand that there's times where we do have to have serious conversations. So thank you both for having us on.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Like I say every week, guys, let your voice be heard. Apologize for no weekday wisdom last week. They sprung a work function on us and they said it's mandatory. So I got home, I think, about 9:30.
Oh, you guys definitely, shout yourselves out. Where can everybody in the chat, if they don't know, where can they find you guys? Social medias, YouTube, all that. Feel free to shout yourself right out.
I'm on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Twitter is, I think, Let Your Voice Be Heard. And then YouTube is Shane Oakley _FCFC, and it's the same thing for Instagram.
Mine's Texas Cloud Town across the board. Weekend Wisdom tomorrow, 5 p.m.
Okay.
I will make time for that one, dude. My day tomorrow is insane.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to make sure I tune in for that. So, I want to thank Weekend Wisdom for coming out and hanging out. I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here, being active in the chat. It's much appreciated. Great discussion tonight, guys. Definitely appreciate it. Logan, do you have any final?
I do, and I kind of said on Instagram and on. There's no such thing as Superman. There's no holy savior that is going to come down and make all of this okay. Superman's not real, and he's not coming to save.
What?
Are you kidding? You're not serious.
It's the truth. I know it's
Is
shocking.
Santa Claus real?
That's for a different show. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was about to ask you about the Easter
We'll
bunny.
talk. Just DM me, bro. We'll talk. But I do want.
Remember, I'm only 25. I still believe in this stuff.
I'll
Oh,
keep
man.
that in mind. I'll let you down easy. I'll let you down real easy. Set you right down in a nice cozy pillow. You're gonna be disappointed the whole way down, but at least it'll be a soft landing.
Oh man.
But the fact of the matter is that we can all be heroes.
Mhm.
Every single person in chat, every person who watches this replay, everybody on this panel, we can be heroes. We don't need to fly. We don't need to be bulletproof. But we can all be heroes. We can all help save lives. You just have to pick up the phone. You just have to send an email. You just have to help people, to care for other human beings. That's what this is all about. And we can all do that. I believe in every single person here. And all of you out there, I believe in you.
So, yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks again, guys, for coming out. Definitely check out Weekend Wisdom tomorrow night at 5, right? What is that, 5 Central or 5
Yep,
Central,
5
right?
Central.
5 Central. All right,
Yeah,
and
that was my-
Bye.
take care, everybody.
Bye.
Yes, that was a Chad.